Hey, Holy Crow, we're going live any second now. Who do you want to do a shout out to?
I'd like to do a shout out to the Creative Collective in Salem, Massachusetts, who does an amazing job of organizing the street fairs.
Creative Collective, here we go. Hey guys, get ready for a spooky and magical episode today. It is Friday the 13th, and we are welcoming to the show the one and only Holy Crow. We'll be diving into the lore of Friday the 13th, and we're sharing their experience as a Salem witch with a background in multiple arts, including handmade jewelry, divination, illustration, and production. Holy Crow is truly a master of their craft. Plus, as a seasoned palm and tarot reader, they have a wealth of knowledge to share with us. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today, Holy Crow?
Doing great. So happy to be here.
I am excited to be here. It's a lucky day. It has been for me over like the years. 13th, Friday the 13th has been super lucky, and so let's talk about Friday the 13th and what we can learn about it today. And for all those people that think it's a bad or not good day, so like go into the history of it for us. What's up with Friday the 13th?
Yeah, so the tradition of Friday the 13th being specifically an unlucky day hasn't really been commonplace in the United States and Europe until like about a couple hundred years ago. But they think that the origins of various lore about 13 is much, much older. So one of the big days that happened on a Friday the 13th was when the Knights Templar were rounded up by the Catholic Church. That was on a Friday the 13th. So it may have been that later during the resurgence of the Rosicrucians and the Freemasons that the Friday the 13th lore came out into more of the public.
So yeah, because it's as far as I can remember back to grade school, everyone was waiting for Friday the 13th, and it's like, oh my God, it's going to be a scary day today.
For sure. I mean, it's funny because Friday the 13th, I remember learning about it in school too and being like, what? I have to worry about this now? Because it wasn't something that my family was superstitious about. My family actually thought that 13 was a good luck,
Mhm.
number. So especially my Italian family, my Italian grandmother had her house number was 13, her lot number was 13. She got married on the 13th. So in Italy, Friday the 13th is a lucky day. The 13th is a lucky number, but it's the 17th that is considered unlucky. And in Spanish speaking world, it's Tuesday the 13th that's unlucky. So but the number
Hmm.
13 itself has a lot of unusual connotations about it because it follows 12, which is divisible by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. And so I think that like having this prime number directly after 12, when we had the Roman calendar and we had all these other things that were divisible, sort of made it a big anomaly, and people were curious about it, particularly since 13 could resolve to a perfect number. you
I'm
know
just trying to think because 13's prime. It's right up there, one of the first primes, right?
Yep.
And yeah, you can't divide it by anything, can you?
Nope. And it also, is one of the Fibonacci sequence. So it's one of those numbers that has a lot of significance very early in the number line, and is unusual. And then of course there's 13 moons in the year. So having the association of the lunar calendar that was different from the solar Roman calendar, it kind of shows that they're like two different, ways of approaching the year and the way that it turns. And they were really pushing that Roman calendar. So 13 would have been, another like, oh, that's lunar, that's bad, that's
Yeah.
that's dark, that's feminine, bleh, that they love to do. So but there's some other significant Friday the 13th. Of course, Jesus was sent to die on a Friday the 13th.
That
There
I did not know.
Cain and Abel, supposedly the Old Testament murder took place on a Friday the 13th. And then even older than that, there's the story of Loki coming to a feast uninvited as the 13th guest, which results in balder dyeing from the Norse tradition. And we get many of the names of the week from the Norse tradition. So having Friday is, of course, related to Freya, and the actual word for being afraid of Friday the 13th is triskaidekaphobia. So, there's a Norse god right in there. So that story of the Feast of 13 made it into lore all the way up to present day, where some people believe that 13 people to a dinner table is unlucky.
Wow. So have you had, like, as a witch in Salem, have you had any experiences yourself, or that you've gone like, this is weird, it's happening on Friday the 13th? Or has it just been, it's another Friday, Saturday's coming, I'm going out to party?
As far as I know, I don't know of anybody locally that really has a lot of, puts a lot of weight on Friday the 13th in Salem. We don't have any particular observations in town or anything that I'm aware of. But it is a day where if you are inclined to think it's unlucky, then it's a great opportunity to practice different kinds of luck magic, which is something that we do all the time.
Right.
I'm a big believer in luck magic. I think it's a great way to kind of do a good offense is the best, the best offense is a good defense kind of approach to magic. Why not? If you don't have a problem in the first place, then you don't have to solve it. So
Right.
what if something good happened? What
Excellent.
if you got lucky? What if, you avoided a problem? So, a robust approach to luck is a great way to associate with witchcraft. It's a
So
really
what's
great.
like what's an example of like luck magic? What kind of things happen with luck magic?
So I think that, when I'm teaching luck magic, what I like to talk about is sort of being in your flow. So, that feeling when everything is really flowing, and I don't do a lot of Harry Potter references, but there is that one amazing scene where Harry Potter takes the luck potion and all of a sudden he's like, everything makes sense. And then he has this like remarkable series of events that take place that instantly put him on the right path. So that's actually one of the few examples I would say that you can look to Harry Potter for, because that's kind of what we're going for. You want to enhance the odds of something
Hmm.
good happening. If something is possible, then it can be probable. And if it can be probable, it can happen. So you're just increasing the odds of something good happening. So if you have an unlucky day, then you want to make sure that you've stayed on top of, your various witch hygiene. So one of those things, how do you associate with your space? Are you keeping it clean? For us, when we do a house cleanse, we start back to front. We sweep everything out that front door. Then we mop back to front. Maybe we bless the mop water, and then follow it with a smoke cleanse. And then you have to open a window for a while to make sure that the spirits that you don't want in their energy, can leave. That's one of the reasons that people do it in springtime, because then the weather is nice enough that you can open the window again.
Yeah.
Um, and then after you've done all that, then you place your wards. You don't want to place your wards until you've cleaned everything out. So those are the basic steps for getting your house cleaned up. And then you can also do some personal, hygiene as well, in terms of sort of like doing some energetic cleanses. Try to get your
Mhm.
chakras in alignment, make sure your personal energy is flowing. If you do feel stressed or like weighed down or heavy, in your energy, it may be a good idea to uplift your spirits with a cleansing bath. Um, it's something that, witches do all the time.
Mhm.
Because if you're a reader, you have to make sure that you're not holding on to any of that energy that passes through you as you're channeling energy through for other people. So, you know, um, maybe you'll do a bath cleanse, maybe you'll do a personal smoke cleanse of some kind, Some people finish that with an oil that has been blessed or has a particular attribute added to it, so that you're anointing various parts of your body to activate it, to invite those energies in. So it would be a good day for a luck oil. And then if you think that you have actually been affected by bad magic, by bad luck, then you're moving on to reversals.
And what are reversals?
So a reversal is, something where you're going to be uncrossed. You're removing a hex. You're removing the evil eye. You're removing negativity that has been put upon you by an external force. So if it's your own negativity or just gunk that you've picked up, that's something you can do with a simple cleanse. But if there's something more robust, then you may need to move on to, like the next level, bigger magic. And if you're unable to do it yourself, then it may be within your tradition to go to somebody to ask for an egg cleanse.
Egg?
That's an egg cleanse. So the idea behind an egg cleanse is that the shell is porous, and so it can pick up on your energies. And so a practitioner will take the egg, will roll it all over your body to, pick up the energy, and then we'll break it into a glass of water and read the results for you to tell
Oh,
you
wow.
what's going on with you. This is a very similar idea to the, but less violent that you would do to read entrails, for example. Like,
Yeah.
it's still common to do that in various traditions where somebody will take an animal and rub it all over somebody, and then, like read the innards after the fact to see if there's any disease or anything that they're seeing that, correlates. So, but the egg cleanse can be done, you may know somebody in your family who knows how to do it. You may need to go to a practitioner, but that's a great way to find out what's going on with you. If you need to do other diagnostics, then you can, of course, pull some tarot cards. There are correspondences online you can look up for yes or no cards, so that
Mm.
you can ask yes or no questions and then get a yes or no answer if that's important to you. There are also cards that denote, heavier negative influences. I wouldn't say they're bad cards because every card in the tarot deck has something to teach. But, if you're asking, am I hexed, and you get the tarot tower card, then, that's a good indicator that you may need to do some personal hygiene magically. So,
Wow. So for
but
the people, because what I was going like, oh, this sounds good. This whole like thing with the getting in the bath or whatever. What kind of oils or things should people get to put in their bath so that they can just relax and chill on Friday the 13th?
Well, what I like to do is to, I think my last round of Epsom salts, I bought like 9 pounds or something like that. We do a lot of salt baths around here because salt, of course, is a wonderful cleanser magically, and it just helps to dispel negative energy. And it also soothes the muscles at the same time. So it's a really great approach. We love those actions that work on all levels, emotionally, spiritually, and physically at the same time. So, definitely start with some salt. And then I personally like to use Florida water. It smells great. I don't put a heck of a lot in. If you're not familiar with Florida water, it
Mm.
is marketed now as a cologne and is very commonly used in witchcraft. However, it was originally a concoction that um, was just like put together for its magical abilities and then like packaged as clone. The recipe goes back like 1,000 years or something.
What's actually in Florida, like the state, Florida
I
water?
believe the name is Florida comes from like Floridia, like Italy or Spain. It's a Mediterranean thing that came from the Mediterranean, then got spread through Catholic folk magic and other traditions.
Uh-huh.
But
What's in it?
it smells amazing. It has a lot of different scents. It's very unique. There's definitely a little touch of clove, but really, I would say just get some. It's amazing. You can get it online very easily. And smell it, try it. It's works extremely well for raising your energies up. So that's an easy one. I do have a few magical bath bombs that I like to use sometimes. I get them from a maker that does a great job of putting together 100% natural essential oils, no synthetics scents and that kind of thing, which is, personally what I like to use, especially if I'm doing something magical. But the Florida water has a wonderful scent. And for oils, you could start with any base oil that you feel comfortable with. You could just use olive oil. You can use coconut oil. You can use almond oil. A lot of times people like almond oil for things that touch skin because it's pretty gentle. If you have nut allergies, you might want to avoid that one. If you have avocado oil, that's another one you can use on the skin very well. And then you can just add a couple tiny drops of essential oils. And for those, always look up, any interactions and stuff that you may have. But, lavender is very soothing. That's a great one for relaxation. That also lifts your crown chakra and helps, like raise awareness. But there's a lot of different options. Cinnamon, I think, is a pretty good one for luck. So, you can actually just burn cinnamon. I don't know if you knew that, but cinnamon, if you get the sticks, you can light them. And that is another classic smoke cleanse that you can use in the home. And it has a nice scent. It doesn't smell the seams it does when you grind it, but that's a classic one for raising the spirits up and bringing joy. So there's lots of things that
Dang, I have to say, I'm like glad that we did this today because I'm thinking I haven't heard anything that I'm going like, this is too negative. Matter of fact, I'm thinking like go get some cinnamon and take a bath and just like chill in the tub,
Absolutely. I think that, when you're approaching any problem, if you're approaching it from a negative mindset, it's harder to solve.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to be in your feelings to work through, a challenge, and that's totally valid. But when you're ready, when you've processed those feels and you're ready to be in a problem solving mode, then, returning to center and having a practice to uplift your spirit and reset your energies, I think is really great as just a baseline. And that's one of the things that witchcraft teaches you. It's a practice, it's practical. There are things you do every day that can help you to just be more present in your life. I think that is one of the most amazing things that witchcraft brings me is, a daily practice. If I have a challenge, I have a repertoire of things I can look at to pull from, if I want to raise the energies in the house, sometimes we'll do a witch boil, which is where you take cinnamon and allspice and cloves and you just put it in water and boil it. And it releases all of those wonderful scents from mulling spices into your home. Who doesn't feel good when you smell that? That is a lovely aroma. So, it uplifts everyone's spirits. That's dispelling negativity. That is good witch hygiene. These are all things that we do because your home is your home base. You take care of that space and it sets you up for how you interact with spaces in general. How can you own your space? How can you, occupy it in a healthy way? And how can you bring that energy with you? When you go anywhere to help other people feel at ease, help other people feel capable of bringing their whole self to the table when they're around you.
Can I
So
just say this conversation today has, if I had, which I don't because I got rid of it a while ago, but any negative feelings about Friday the 13th, all the things we've been talking about today have done nothing but make me like happy about the day. As a matter of fact, I'm just gonna get the
yeah,
rest
it's
of
like,
work in the
that
day.
day, great opportunity. You have an opportunity to get in there and do all this wonderful self-care to kind of counteract it. And, and like I said, for people who do, apparently there are about 21 million Americans that are phobic of Friday the 13th, and that it's enough people who avoid going out on this day that it affects the economy to the tune of $800 to $900 million.
Wow.
So
That's
there is
astounding.
there is a whole stream, if you think about it that way. There's a current out there that views this as a negative day. So, like you were saying, you know, switching to the current that believes it's a lucky day
Absolutely.
is just as possible. So, but if you do find yourself in the category of people who view it as an unlucky day, then you may do more things to avoid bad luck, which is some of the classics are walking under ladders, opening an umbrella
Yeah,
indoors.
that's just a bad idea anyway. Like if you
Yeah,
open a golf umbrella in your living room, you're gonna knock something over.
you're gonna not. Yeah, it's not a good idea. I do practice that one. I always open it upside down, and then I won't flip it up till I get out of the house. That's the
There
most.
you go.
I think that's just practical.
Yeah. It's like
Um,
getting out of your car. It's like try opening it in your car. Not a good idea.
yeah. If you spill salt, apparently this is the most popular of all superstitious beliefs, we'll call it, in the US, is spilling salt. Then you take a pinch, throw it over your left shoulder to avoid bad luck.
I've never understood that one. I would just rather sprinkle it on my food. But
I think that I'm not sure why the left shoulder. I know that there's associations where your death hangs over your left shoulder. So I don't know if it's protecting you from, bad luck that may creep in from the left side, since people
um,
used to believe the left side was unlucky, hence the Latin sinister being on the left and that kind of thing. Um, but uh, but I know that people used to say, "Are you worth your salt?" Because salt was an incredibly precious commodity, and
gotcha.
that if you spilled it, it was spilling money. So a little pinch to say, "Ooh, I hope nothing bad happens." It's like it's like spilling all your milk. Don't
Yes.
cry over spilled milk. Well, people used to work really hard for that milk. That was a huge part of, their day, going out milking the cow and then using that in all their cooking and stuff. So, these adages really come from another time where people were associating with these as extremely precious commodities. You
Mhm.
know, and it was
If I was gonna look at one subject or fear or phobia or anything on Friday the 13th, being a pet photographer and having worked with them is the black cats. And I want everyone make sure your black cats are inside today because there are crazy people that will do things with them.
That's a very good point, because we love our void cats. We love our black kitty friends. So please keep them in, so that, nobody who will think negative thoughts about a black kitty will do anything.
Yeah. I used to have black cat and I love my black cat. So
Black kitties are so great. We love them. In fact, there's a black cat rescue in Salem.
is there really?
Yep.
Just for black cats.
Yep, there's a lot of well, because black kitties tend to not get adopted as quickly.
Huh.
And because there are enough people that have a superstition about them being unlucky, that they do tend to sit a little longer. And so, sometimes there are specialty rescues that step in and say, "Give me all of the void kitties and we will find them homes."
Wow.
And I will say a lot of people in Salem have black dogs and black cats. I mean, it is a popular color.
Yeah. I love black cats. So yeah. If I'm
Yes.
in Salem and I don't have one, I'm gonna pick up a black kitty because I love them. They're amazing. I want people to be able to get in touch with you and continue the discussion, ask you questions, buy some of your jewelry, which is amazing. And we're going to do another whole, maybe a special episode on you. Actually, I think you're making a piece for me, and I'm
I am
waiting.
going to
I
make a
can't
piece.
wait to see
I'm
that.
very excited to do it.
Yeah. So we can get in touch with you at holycrowart.com,
That's right.
and people can see your jewelry. They can get in touch with you to make custom pieces.
Mhm.
They can probably ask you more questions about Friday the 13th, too.
You
So.
definitely can, and you can check me out on Instagram, holy.crow. I am, that I put a lot of my pieces up on there. We've been taking a short break for winter, and we'll be back at it by the end of the month, posting pieces and going back out to events locally and sometimes internationally. Depends on.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing the piece you're creating for me, and I'll just wear it the next time we're on the show.
Ooh,
So thank
fantastic.
you very much, and we will see you again in the future.
All
Bye.
right. Thank you.